The speed sensor is down in there. That part. It's that part right there. So there's a clip on the lower part of it that you take out with either screwdriver or needle nose pliers. I use needle nose pliers because then I can hold on to it and it doesn't like drop down underneath the car or get stuck somewhere. True to form, I have misplaced my needle nose pliers. So this is what the clip looks like. It's just down there, and coincidentally I'm going to be replacing this thing because the part I think that they sent me had a manufacturer's error, let's just say. Here's the clip. You don't want to lose that because the part that they send you is probably not going to include a clip. I think that part actually comes with like electrical harnesses when they send that thing. Alright, so the next thing you're going to be taking off is this. It's got these clips on the side, and you can just take those off with your fingers. You don't need a special tool for it. And by special tool, I mean like screwdriver. Okay, then you take off the electrical thingy. So taking off the electrical thingy, and now I'm just going to pull out the sensor. I really don't know if this is even going to fix the speedometer not tracking stuff sometimes. Does it just pull out straight from the thing, or does it like de-twist it? Because here's what the part looks like. Okay, it's threaded, so that means I'm going to be taking it out counterclockwise. And for that, I'm going to need either gloves, like leather gloves, or my channel lock pliers. By the way, I've disconnected my battery when I'm doing this. Because there is... I'd rather not risk getting electrocuted. Alright, so let's see if this is... Alright, so that should just be unscrewing counterclockwise. People like keep presenting videos on YouTube like with a lot of cuts and stuff, and there are very few people that have posted the full footage of them working on something. And just, it creates this false impression that you know, working on this stuff is a smooth thing, and a lot of times it's just, you don't know what problems you're going to run into or how you'll have to adapt, because it's not this like very even progression of things. It's like you'll get a lot of stuff done and then just be stuck on a problem, and you never know like how long you're going to be stuck on that problem. And people complain about, like, you know, somebody adding unnecessary commentary, but I'm not a silent protagonist. I'm not a protagonist at all, but people seem to think I mean, there are cases where commentary really doesn't help anything, but I'm not a blank slate to superimpose your own personality on. Alright, so now I'm putting the new one back in. Okay. Please. Camera controls with the embedded Twitch client leave something to be desired. I'm just using my smartphone to record this. Like, there's no way I can like manually focus it. I just have to hope that it like looks at the right stuff. Because, you know, Twitch is meant for people that are sitting in their chairs just playing video games and stuff. So that's what it looks like when it's screwed in all the way. Just going to reconnect the electrical cable. Put the cover back on. Try to figure out which way faces up, because the clip side is going to be still mostly in the down direction. And these are keyed to where there's a, you know, specific up and down with them. Like, you can't just fit it over the connector like anyway. I'm just going to put it in like this and see what happens. Like, quarters are so cramped in this thing. I'm pretty much having to do this by touch and not by sight. And this part I have found out is one of the hardest to access. Like, if you're changing out the actual, like, impeller thingy, like the spinny thingy that the sensor reads, like, it means getting up underneath the car and having this really awkward, uncomfortable angle, because I don't have a lift. Anybody with an apartment doesn't have a lift. Can't have a lift. It's like, who actually does have a lift aside from like backyard mechanics? Oh, that's good enough. It's like you have to have a really tall garage in order to have a lift, which pretty much just limits things to homeowners. I thought it would be a good idea to like have a garage that's accessible by multiple people within a neighborhood. But whenever I think that that would be a good idea, I'm like, yeah, no, that would be a terrible idea, because somebody would just have their car up on the lift and never get it done. So they just hog it and nobody else will be able to get to it. So I've seen enough cars on cinder blocks to know that somebody will just perpetually say, no, I'm going to have it fixed tomorrow, and it'll never be tomorrow. So maybe as a rental thingy, but then when you get money involved, liability gets to be involved. Alright, so that part's done. I'm not going to try it out until after I've worked on this thingy. And before you ask, no, there's nothing actually inside of those parts. Like, the only thing that's actually inside there is just some tackiness, like to hold the gasket in place. This is all on the outside to make sure that it's got a seal. And I realize it's excessive, but, you know, I don't have like a special... it's just hard to get into all these little cracks and stuff, so it just ends up going everywhere. Alright, so same deal. I think I'm probably going to have to take off stuff in order to access this. Like this thingy that goes to the throttle. Yes, I could take it out by hand if I wanted to struggle, but I've actually just got this thing, so I might as well use it. Alright, so that was the easy part. No, still gotta undo the little clips for the cover to disconnect the electrical stuff. Okay. Now I gotta get this out. So the thing that I was talking about earlier was this piece is angled up like this, and you can tell it's not perpendicular because this is supposed to be perpendicular. Sorry, this horizontal surface is supposed to be parallel with this one. This surface is supposed to be perpendicular to this surface, or parallel to this one. You can tell that I'm doing this live, because otherwise I would just be redoing that take. And I might have to take the cover off in order to get to it, just because the angle is easier without that there. Alright, let me get my socket wrench. Alright, so the bolts that go on the throttle position sensor are 10 millimeters. The top one is easy to get to, like it's no problem. It's the bottom one that's trickier. Alright, so I think what I'm going to have to do is take off this thing, and this could be pretty oily, so I'm just going to take that off with these. People were like saying you need you can get a special tool for hose clamps, but for these smaller ones I don't think you need one. And the thing about like those hose clamp pliers, they don't tighten. Actually, nothing tightens these hose clamps back off, or back together. They're supposed to be self-tightening and stuff, but I don't know what happens when they lose their springiness. Alright, I can't get to it from that angle, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to that at all with a socket wrench. Like, I might just have to use my pliers. I'm going to try with this extender thingy. That did not work. I'm going to try my little wrench set. These are literally called stubby wrenches. They're not short wrenches, they're stubby wrenches. So know these are 10mm bolts. It's just, even with this short wrench set, I don't know if I can get to them. What if I come in like at a straight angle? It's like the only way that you can get to that one is with a screwdriver, which I hate because it means that there's a possibility I can end up stripping it.
Not stripping it, like
I don't know if there's a term for rounding the inside slots of a Phillips or flathead screw out. See, I don't know if I can get to it with the at this angle with the valve cover curtain in the way. That's too wide. That works. So that one is the CRV 7/32. Okay, that was actually way easier than I thought it would be. Didn't have to take off the valve cover curtain in order to do this. I'm going to reuse the gasket that came with the old one though, because that part is fine. Assuming it doesn't like tear when I'm trying to take it off of this old part. Okay, here's the other screw. Yay, that came off easily. So, let us take a moment to inspect the old part, because I'm going to try modifying this thing to see if, well, actually I don't know if I even ought to bother modifying it to see if it'll work, because I'm going to put the new one on that I got, which also is not like 100% like perpendicular. Like, look at this. I don't know if you can tell, but that is not 100% certain. That is not 100% centered on this part. It's like more this way. I would like it to be like completely centered, but it's not. So this one, you can tell the difference in that. That is way off. Like, you think this one's bad, like this one is, I mean, that's like, what, 25 degrees off from center. So with this one, assuming this works better, not like perfect, but better, like I can go back and try to drill a new hole in this back piece, rotate this, which is an iffy thing because I think there's a gasket on this circular part, like an O-ring, that's holding it in place. So I don't know if I can twist it at all, but I was thinking if I did that, then I could have it as centered as I wanted it to be. Or really, like, assuming this even changes the idling speed at all, I can make it idle lower if I want. Like, hey, that's the lowest idle I can get while this engine is still working. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, install this. So that's the old gasket. I'm going to put just a little bit more, just a very thin layer of the liquid gasket onto that. And then screw this one back in place and see if it's any better. I'm hoping this fixes the high idle thing. I have seen like the underside of the car, and it looks to me like there's some spots that I wasn't able to reach with this stuff on the underside of the throttle body. So I'm hoping it won't matter, but because I really hate getting underneath my car, just because it's such a pain. I've got an old toothbrush that I'm going to use for this, and really, actually, I probably ought to be using my fingers though, because I just want it super thin. Just enough for it to be tacky. I don't want any of it on the inside. And I just push some more of it into the inside. Alright, I'm going to need to get a paper towel because now I'm making a huge mess. The goal is so that none of it gets on the inside of the throttle body. So I don't want these little airways getting restricted at all. Alright, Now I'm going to put on the new one, which is right there. Get both of the screws. I want the one that's... I can't tell which one of these is less rounded out. I guess this one. I'm going to put that in the less accessible part. Just going to put both of the screws in there so it'll line up right. Tighten the top one down a little bit so it stays in place. I don't even want it to be snug, I just want it to not be rotating and stuff. Start to tighten down the bottom one. Now I'm just going to alternate between the top one and the bottom one so that neither one of these is tighter than the other. Very careful with the bottom one because I don't want to strip it out. And even as it is, it's still peeling off chunks of metal. Because everything in this car has to be made of super soft metal unless it's a seized bolt, in which case it's made of adamantium mithril. Okay, so now that I have both hands free, I can show you what it looks like. That's when it's installed. I don't want to plug this back together yet though, because I still need to do all the gasket stuff. Toothbrush, gasket stuff. Why am I using a toothbrush? Because it spreads stuff more evenly than my fingers. And can get into tighter spots than my fingers can. By the way, if people are saying stuff in chat, I can't really read it. Which is bad because I can't moderate stuff right this second. Probably ought to just see if there's anything going on in chat. Can I please see chat? Show chat. Howdy. How are you? I should be wearing a mask for this because this stuff smells like really acrid and is probably causing my lungs cancer and stuff. This stuff is supposed to take 12 to 24 hours to cure. Although I have just waited like 10 minutes before. And I can't say that I got good results, but that's what I did. I'm going to go ahead and put some on the throttle body because I know that I missed some spots like when I was looking at it earlier. I can't get anything down in that area, so it's just going to have to be good enough. Alright, cap our goop. Now I'm going to put on this little cover thing and the clip. I just did that with my hands, no screwdriver required. Nope. Here. I still need to put on the tubey thingy that goes from the throttle body to this. Take these and tighten down that clip. and stuff. Back into the toolbox. And I'm pretty much done for this particular task. So I'm going to take a break, go inside and drink some water and stuff.